It's sort of slim pickings here on the far side of the international break. The best match should be a good one between Manchester City and Tottenham, but other than that, it's like we've been put on a bit of a diet before Thanksgiving. Still, we're here for it all today on Coffee with a Kick. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. We're here. International break is behind us. As nice as that international break may have been, it is a thing of the past, and we're now here in the home stretch of the calendar year for EPL up through that international break that carries us over the end of December, right? It's usually the end of December into early January. Hold on, let me sketch.
Yeah, I think we don't have another international break until February.
Until February?
Yeah, it's either late January or early February.
Oh, sure enough. Yeah, so we're in the dog days of winter here since they don't play during the summer. Whew. Yeah. Busy time. Busy time. It's moving time in the EPL season. That's what we're gonna call it. The last half of the first half of the season. You might call it the second quarter. But enough dilly-dallying. Let's get to the matter at hand, which is Matchday 12, starting on Saturday, early 7:30 a.m. Leicester City kicks us off at the King Power Stadium against Chelsea. How do you think that this one will go on the other side here for both these teams? I don't know how much Leicester had international duty, but I know some Chelsea guys did.
Yeah, we say it often whenever international breaks come up, at least I do, that these games are always the trap games.
Mm-hmm.
Because the big teams have all their players usually go off. Teams like Leicester have the ability to keep some of their players because they have a Jamie Vardy who's older, who's obviously not going to on England duty anytime soon. I don't think that's going to be this match, though. It may trip up a couple of teams, but I'm going Chelsea takes it 2-1. I think Cole Palmer didn't play quite as well pre-international break, so he's going to want to come out firing. I think he gets a goal, and Chelsea takes all 3 points.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. I've got actually 3-1 Chelsea. I think Cole Palmer will play better because he was absent from their victory last week, or their draw last week against Arsenal, and they were really missing his creativity up top in that one. So I think he picks it up here. Leicester, I don't think they've got the guns to take Chelsea down. It will depend on which team shows up. I mean, with Chelsea, we talk about this all the time, that it'll depend on which Chelsea team shows up. If they come back and they're locked in, even if they are young and uneven over the course of a season. Now, here's one that I think is a candidate for a trap game. Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest are first at 10 a.m. Arsenal already not playing great. Nottingham Forest, the surprise of the season in a positive direction. I think that even going into Arsenal's home turf there, the Emirates, I think that Nottingham gets a point out of this. As much as it hurts my predictions, I've got it as 1-1, Arsenal and Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Arsenal, I mean, they've been having it rough. They're winless in their last 4 Premier League matches. I think that continues. I think actually Nottingham gets it 2-1.
Oh, the full 3. Bold of you.
I don't know if Odegaard is back yet. I seemingly, from what I'm reading, it doesn't seem like he'll be back. And he's been kind of their cog they've been missing. They've had Declan Rice. They've had David Raya. They've had everyone else, but they've been lacking that creativity that they need. And Nottingham's playing really well. Yeah. Again, another one of those teams that probably not a lot of their players went off to international duty. And if they did, they didn't play much. So they're going to be fresher than Arsenal. And I think they get all 3 points.
Well, I mean, it's a bolder pick than mine. And certainly better on the units play as well. Now, it has nothing to do with table standings. So we'll just move on, just without even mentioning it, to Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace struggles in this one, I think, against Aston Villa. It is at home for Aston Villa, so I mean that's always a benefit. And I feel like a lot of the matches, this particular match day, have that sort of flavor to them, that the home side is given a big boost on it. Hold on, I wanted this to be the table. I was trying to look at the table just to make sure I'm not speaking out of turn. Yeah, Crystal Palace it does struggle. Oh, stop glitching out, you weirdo. That's what I'm looking for. Right there, yes. Crystal Palace does struggle to score. Only Southampton is worse off this season for goals for. I think that Aston Villa, having invested in their defense, I think hopefully they're starting to actually come together because we both picked Martinez, their goalkeeper, to take the Golden Glove. And so far, I think he has maybe 2 clean sheets this season so far out of 11. And if you're going to get one this season, if you're not playing Southampton, the next best guess is Crystal Palace. So I think that they do blank Crystal Palace and take it 2-0 is what I have for Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. I think it's a fair guess.
You know, I have it 2-1. Aston Villa have not been the same team on defense that they were last year. They're right now 5th in goals against, which is not great compared to last year when they were in the top 5 of, or in the bottom 5 of goals against. Just like really stout defense, a lot of clean sheets, especially at home. I'm going to go 2-1. I think Crystal Palace will be a bit more inspired after a couple of good results going their way. But it's at home. Aston Villa is historically very good at home, and I think they're going to take 3 points.
Yeah, I think they take the full 3. I can't remember. Hold on. I'm trying to find my notes from our prediction episode. Where did it go? I've got too many papers on my desk right now, obviously.
We need some elevator music. Or what we should do from episodes here on out is have the SpongeBob, 3 hours later.
We'll call it done. Bournemouth and Brighton Hove Albion is the next one up. How do you have that one going? I should have just introed you into it because it is yours to go first anyways.
This one, I think it's going to go 2-2. I think both of these teams are fairly similar. Brighton definitely the better team overall, but it being at Bournemouth, I really think, they had a loss, a win, draw, win, loss in their last 5. I think they're good enough to get another draw. I think that they're playing extremely well when it's really that final third. When they get opportunities in the final third, they do a great job of finishing them. It's just, can they get into the final third? I think they do. Brighton have not been the most defensive savvy team this year, giving up 15 goals. But I think Bournemouth gets at least a point from being at home.
Well, I think that you're just being angry at Brighton. I think that's what you're doing here. I have Brighton taking the full thing. It's technically against Bournemouth is the favorite in this one, but really? I'm going to take Brighton 2-1.
I would not have predicted them being the favorite.
Yeah, that's what I was hinting at in the last one. I was saying that there's a lot of heavy home perks in this one. Like Bournemouth being the favorite over Brighton seems strange. Everton over Brentford is like a little weird for favorites. So I still think Brighton is the better side overall, and I think they do take it 2-1, even away from the Amex. And speaking of Everton and Brentford, that one is up next. Another 10 a.m. slot. And that one I have got. This is when I double-checked. Did a double-take at my picks because I have this one going 2-2. And we know that we can't agree on picks anymore fully. So I wanted to make sure that was not this one. It wasn't. It was Everton and Brentford.
Well, I'm right there with you on the draw. I don't think either team will get 2. I think it'll be 1-1. Mm-hmm. Everton, they've just been a team that it depends on the day. Like, they might go out and score 3, or as we've seen, they'll go out and score 2 in the first half and lose 3-2.
Right.
So, both of these teams have been volatile. Brentford has been the team that scored in the first minute 3 times this season. And I think only one of those games they got a point out of. The other 2 they lost. So 1-1, I think these teams are inconsistent. Brentford have given up 22 goals. Everton have given up 17. Everton just can't really score a lot. So 1-1 feels good to me. But who knows? If I had to choose a winner, Brentford feels better. But Everton being at home, I just couldn't get myself to not give them a point. Yeah,
right now Brentford is on a streak of they're a little pre-gaming for Christmas time. It's win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. They haven't had a draw since week 6, and they've been alternating wins and losses in between. So maybe they can break out of that, get back to some gray At least they're due for a loss, technically, by the streak that they currently have going. They're currently actually inverted from Tottenham Hotspur, who are loss, win, loss, win. No, sorry, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And I think they're actually up next, right? No, one more to get to before we go there.
Your team.
Yes, my team, my Wolves, head to Fulham, the Craven Cottage. Now, Fulham is very stout defensively. They have been resilient in that regard, especially when they've been at home. I mean, they've only given up, what have they given up? They given up 13, so it's not that great. They're no Liverpool this season, but they have been certainly improving of late. I mean, they're unbeaten their last 3. And I think that this goes actually pretty similar to their Everton match a few weeks ago, and it goes a 1-1 draw between my Wolves and Fulham. I'm looking for just a point. Let's keep building. Let's get, we got some momentum going. We're getting to that portion of this season that I was talking about. So let's keep the momentum trucking along here for my Wolves.
Yeah, I've been saying all season, once they get that first win, I think they're a good team that they can start to play like the mid-table to high mid-table team that they are. They certainly have the talent for it. I think they take all 3 points.
Really?
I think they're 2-1. I think Fulham, they've been kind of on their high horse recently. They've won their last 2. Just had an international break. I think that's going to stall some momentum for them. Yeah, I think the Wolves can go in there and take it 2-1. That may be, foolish of me to say, but I'm rocking with the Wolves. I think they're about to go on a little streak here.
You're right. Anthony Robbins is going to come back, and he's just going to be gassed for Fulham. That's what it's going to be.
Potch ball, that's what it'll do to you.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. So on to the one that I was mentioning just a moment ago. Manchester City comes out of the international break hobbled. Not necessarily. They're not hobbled, but I mean they are performing poorly currently. Although Rodri is still out. Yes, I haven't seen that he's back yet.
Yeah, Rodri probably won't come back for a while. They thought he was going to be out for the season. Now there's potential he could come back in April.
That's right.
But Kevin De Bruyne will be back.
Yes, he should be full strength here.
Wow.
It is at home. It is at the Etihad. It is at a Tottenham team that, like I just mentioned, is bouncing around right now between wins and losses. I do have this one being nervy, but still a full 3 for Manchester City. A 3-2 victory against Tottenham.
Yeah, I think it'll be 3-1. It's looking like we'll have a healthy Jack Grealish, potentially a healthy Jeremy Doku, a healthy Kevin De Bruyne. Haaland hits a hat trick over the international break, so he's not missing a step. Mm-hmm. I think this was a good reset for a team like City. You can take the skid all you want, but when you have 4 youth players on your bench, when you're playing in the Premier League, that's tough. So having some injuries back will give them a boost. I have it 3-1. At home, I think Tottenham had been the Achilles heel of Man City for a long time, but underneath Ainge, not so much. So we'll see, though. I mean, this Premier League season, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, except for Liverpool losing, I think is what the rule is so far. No, they lost 1. But I don't think that they're going to lose this one here on Sunday. Southampton. It is at Southampton. So the Fortress... What is their stadium called?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. The Fortress St. Mary's will not hold in this one. I do have Liverpool taking it easily. This is certainly one that we could look at as a trap game for that, but I don't think Southampton is good enough. They have scored barely. Liverpool's only given up 6 goals, and Southampton's only scored 7 total. So does not bode well for their goal production. I do give them 1, but I give Liverpool 4. 4-1 victory for Liverpool in this. Pretty easy on their side.
Yeah, Liverpool has some injuries. Van Dijk may not play in this one. Harvey Elliott may not play in this one. Looks like Alisson is training now. He's been out for a while. But if you're going to rest any of those guys, you're going to do it in this match. Yeah, it's not going to be one that you're going to rush everyone back for and think that, we got to win this one. I think it's 3-0. Liverpool beats Southampton. Southampton have shown fight versus the teams at their level, but have not shown any fight really versus the top teams. Maybe some 2-0, 1-0 losses, but really that was because the other team just couldn't finish.
Yeah. There's one other thing to think about here, though, is that Liverpool could be looking forward to the following weekend because they do play City at Anfield. So, just...
If I recall, that may have been the reason for their first loss.
Oh, when it was Liverpool at City?
Well, I'm going to go back to see when their first loss was and see who they played after.
Oh, it was to Nottingham Forest, wasn't it?
Nottingham Forest.
Yes. In Matchday.
They lost to Nottingham Forest 1-0. I think they had Champions League midweek.
Mm-hmm.
And then they played Bournemouth, who they destroyed 3-0 the next weekend. But, yeah, the Nottingham game, it could be a trap game like that.
Nottingham has shown themselves to be better than Southampton, so that's why I mean, take it with a grain of salt. But still, there's some indicators. They may not be they're leading indicators, not trailing indicators. So take it with take a a holistic view of this situation when making your picks this week. We already made ours. We think it's going to go chalky. We'll see. And then Ipswich Town hosts Manchester United. How do you think them Red Devils do against the Ponies? I don't think. What is their actual nickname? Ipswich Town.
Ipswich Town. Yeah, the horses, maybe, is that
the prancing ponies? Is that it?
I sure hope not.
They're in and Brie. Is that right?
You figure that out. I think Ipswich gets a point 1-1. This will be the new manager's very first match. And I don't know, when you have a new manager coming in at this point in the season, it's really hard to tactically change. Mm-hmm. We saw them be more attacking when Ten Hag left and Van Nistelrooy came in to be their interim. But man, like Amorim, he wants to be attacking as well, but it's just a different setup. It depends on what he's been doing over the international break. He hasn't had all the players with him, so slotting those guys back into his new system. I think that they will show glimpses of who they are, but I think this first one is going to be 1-1. I think as they kind of get into the system, get a few practices under their belt, it's just a little different than Liverpool. Arne Slot had July 1st all the way until the beginning of the season, when this guy has only been there for a week and a half. Yeah. So there's only so much impact you can have. They have great players, but I think Ipswich is going to lean into that, press a little bit more to get them uncomfortable in the new system and get a draw 1-1.
I was impressed with Manchester United in their first match under their manager. And I think that, having Leicester and then Ipswich Town back-to-back with an international break in between, I think certainly helps. I think they do take it 1-0 over Ipswich Town. I'm just really trying to get Manchester United moving up our table so they don't drag down our picks so much, our preseason picks. But Ipswich Town are either known as the Blues or theoretically the Tractor Boys. I don't know how often or realistically that is used, but according to Wikipedia, they are the Blues or the Tractor Boys.
So I will make a note that their 3-0 win against Leicester, it was still Van Nistelrooy who was over the team, and Amorim came in the next day.
Right. Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And then for the last one of this match day, we've got Newcastle hosting West Ham United at St. James's Park. And I will go ahead and start us off. I have Newcastle taking it 2-0. West Ham is very middling. They're not doing great right now. And I think that Newcastle is still got their eyes on Europe. They're still trying to keep in that race. They're right there. We've talked about it before. It's very tight. Once you get past the first two teams, it's very tight there. Technically, Newcastle is only 1 point out of third. So things go right, and they're immediately in Champions League contention at that point. Qualification even.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they're pushing for that because I had them pretty high up in my prediction at the beginning of the season. I'm right there with you. I have a 2-goal spread, but I think it's 3-1. Newcastle hasn't shown a lot of vigor in wanting to keep clean sheets. I mean, they're averaging a goal a game, which is very decent. I mean, that's admirable, but
Yeah.
there are always goals that trickle in. They're never really goals that were necessarily earned. It's just lapses in judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I think they continue that. I think they let one in, but they win 3-1.
Yeah, you do need them moving up because you have them in third. So that would be a great result for you to get them back up there. All right, but that brings us to the end of this match day 12. We will see how that goes. Just as a programming note, since we're moving into the Thanksgiving week here, we will have a Thanksgiving recap on the other side of Thanksgiving. So the first week of December, we'll have a 3 match day recap episode for Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, in that order. All combined in one Mondo episode. So be ready for that to drop. In the meantime, we will go ahead and continue with our standard prediction episode so you can track with us. I don't know if you guys actually listen to our picks or not. We're going to be better. That was the goal for right now. We're better than we were before. Coming back stronger and better than ever.
A lot of soul searching happened.
Yeah. We took time. We reevaluated. We commiserated. It was a
silent
lot of
retreat, even
darkness retreat. Even I was in a yurt, just me, one guy alone in a yurt, and it was boring. So I left eventually and came back here to do our predictions. So now we get to sign off. Anything you want to say before we go?
Ready to be back. Thanksgiving is a wonderful American holiday. Thank you, England, for allowing us.
It's also Canadian. They just don't do it at the same time.
Well, they're just piggybacking off of us. They didn't conquer the land, so they're just a byproduct of their French nationalism.
Wow. Okay.
Irregardless.
Watch out, Quebecois people. We do get viewers from Canada, so I'm sure that they will write in with.
Well, I love Canada. Then Canada's amazing.
Yeah,
not as good as America though. Sorry, but
yeah, America's top hat. So go ahead and subscribe to the Substack. We'll come out if you want to follow us for real. That's where we do all of our real posting. And drop a comment. Hey, thank you to what was his face? Oh golly, now what's his name? Hold on, I got it. It's right here. Samuel Cropley. Great video. Thanks, Samuel. That's great. Flynn21, we miss you. Don't know where you are out in the world. Fulham's doing pretty well. You should listen to us because Fulham's doing well, and we're giving Fulham their props.
I think that's why he quit listening, because they've been doing well since he stopped.
I see. It's don't want to mess it up. Don't want to. Don't want to mess up their flow that they've got going. But until the midweek for Champions League action, why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer, and we'll see you on the other side. Suarto mío.